It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's IndyCar night on iRacing here on ERN. Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Gonzo. Welcome to P1 Broadcasting coverage of Round 5 of Season 3 of the 2024 season of the IndyCar Oval. Excuse me, if I can't get this thing right, one of these days I will. IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday Night Top Split coming to you from Atlanta Motor Speedway. It'd just be easier if they just go back to what they were calling it before, the IndyCar Fix Series. But that's something else, of course. You can't just do that. No more simple things anymore. But trying to keep things simple for me here in the booth, there is Stephen Larkamp. And joining us is the infamous LGN Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Not joining us tonight because he's a puddle of goo somewhere out in Las Vegas. It's Justin Petschauer. But gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Starting off with you, Stephen, talk about today's race. Kind of a not your standard mile and a half oval race that we typically see here. This race is this track is kind of worn out.
Yeah, and that was really going to be the case no matter which version of Atlanta they were going to be running here, but running the old 2008 scan of Atlanta Motor Speedway, so this place is fast and it's bumpy. That's the big thing. You're going to have to be very careful on the bumps. You got to position your car well, and you got to be very careful running in the draft of another car. You really can have a hard time taking chances here, but you can definitely take them. And one other place that has caught out some people before is the restarts. This track can be infamous for restarts, with the apron being very bumpy, the quad oval being very bumpy. So it is like, this is a game of precision. At the same time, it's a game of risks. These guys are going to have have quite a time tackling this place. If it was going to be the big fast and the smooth, faster version of Atlanta, that would be a whole different ball game, I would think. And like, this is going to be a game, like, this is going to be, like you said, a very different animal from what you expected a place like Charlotte, for example, where like it's rather straightforward in a lot of regards because a lot of drivers are used to it. Atlanta looks like Charlotte. I think it wants to pretend to be Charlotte in a way. It's definitely not, and we love it for it.
Well, it's wider, that's for sure. Charlotte's like threading the eye of a needle, it seems like, especially when you dive side by side in the turn 3 with somebody. I've been hearing that even to come through these the quad oval, the double dogleg on the front stretch here, that some drivers might actually have to be adjusting the weight jacker on each individual dogleg. Now, that's a lot of moves of buttons on your dashboard, so to speak. But LGN, talk about what you're seeing here now in terms of the temperature and everything. Because right now, everybody up front seems to be really close to one another.
Yeah, faster when I say this, it's really, really hot, the temperature. So I read Brando Trost said the main goal is save the tires to the end. That's the main one. So we have 47 Celsius, 160 or 15 Fahrenheit, something like that.
117, I'm seeing.
17. So it's really, really hot for the tires, and especially here because it's really bumpy, so it's gonna be hard. Especially exit for the pit lane. Also.
Yes, very slippery down there, that is for sure. Let's get into tonight's starting lineup. Stephen Larkamp.
On the pole, the number 3 of Brandon Trost, continuing to maintain very strong pace throughout these last few weeks. On the pole position in the number 3 machine, alongside him, only 2 1,000ths off his old rival, Clendy, Kyle Clenworth, in the number 4. Trey Shadid, the Talladega whisperer, well, he's not at Talladega anymore. He said the number 1 car, though, because a few of the heavy hitters have decided to skip tonight. He is going to be starting 3rd, alongside Alan Morea's number 13 machine in 4th. Ty Quilla, once again, very fast all throughout the season. He's going to start off 5th in the number 5, alongside friend of the show, Antonio Estrada, in the number 7. Brian Campbell will be starting 7th place in the number 6 machine, alongside Dustin Cares in the number 9 and 8. Masato Shimizu had a bit of a rough go in qualifying from what I saw, actually wrecked on his first outlap. He is going to start 9th on the number 12 car, alongside Nick Wheeler's number 23. That is going to be your top 10. Felipe Radicic in the 24 will start off 11th alongside William Stearns in the 14. Mark Murphy in the number 2 will start 13th. A rough go for him. What can he do in the race, I wonder? He'll be alongside Freddie Udo Garcia's number 25 in 14th place. Jacob Collins in the number 10 will start 15th alongside Mitch David in the 11 in 16th place. Cristiano Benvenuto in the 18 machine will start off 17th alongside Stephen Lee, who was again fast at Talladega. He'll start off 18th. He's got a lot of work to do in that number 8. Matthew Mercer will be 19th in the 17 and 20th on the grid, rounding up the top 20. A fitting name for his first time appearing on the broadcast. Michael Newcomer in the 15 machine starts 20th. 21st is the last driver to post a qualifying time, Kevin Crotty in the 19. He'll be alongside Jeff Murray's number 16. 23rd and 24th will be Robbie Ross and Joseph Morales. And shotgun on the field will be the 22 of Scott Sanders. So it's going to be 75 laps here at Hotlanta. And honestly, looking at the weather, though, I think it would be a good day as far as Atlanta is concerned recently, but it's going to be a hot track out there regardless. Atlanta usually is. And as you were saying before, LGN, this is going to be a tire management race for sure for a lot of these guys, even for the leader, Brandon Trost. And you're going to have to pick your fights very well. You're going to have to pick your battles. You're going to have to pick how you run this race very, very carefully, I think.
I'm going to put my coin on Kyle because he won yesterday, so let's see.
Well, he's definitely got pace for it, but look at Trost on the throttle. Green flag flies. He gaps them pretty quick here. Clendy still holding on to second place. Meanwhile, the battle on for third. Alan Morea and Trey Shadid going into turn 1. Pretty clean start so far. Everyone getting themselves into order, it would seem. Oh, problems in turn number 2. Mitch David was around. Gathers it up, though. No caution, amazingly, even though he's gotten himself back on the racing surface. But that is a tough blow for another driver who had a good run going at Talladega, but was spoiled of it towards the end of the event. But Brandon Trost now looking in the rearview mirror. Kyle Clemworth didn't take that jump sitting down. He's got right back up to the gearbox of the number 3 through 3 and 4 on lap 2.
Looks like David was actually lost it coming up to speed. We're kind of replaying the restart of the start here. And I don't know, he had to check up or just as we talked about in the pre-race, the dangers of the restart here. And maybe he got caught with it. We're watching very closely here the restart to see what happened one more time.
It's
Very lucky
something.
Stephen Lee. Lucky Stephen Lee.
Stephen Lee looking at
because the car of the Stephen Mitchell is going on the front to him, so really lucky he didn't get it.
Yeah, look at it, just on around by himself. Interesting.
Yeah, and that is I'd say it's disturbingly easy to do at Atlanta. I see it a lot in the tin tops around here in NASCAR equipment, but you can even do it in the Indy cars as well, even with the turbo lag sort of holding back all the power that you get right off the go here, so that may have caught him off guard. Atlanta can definitely throw some big curveballs at you.
It's a battle between two teammates, Quilla and Campbell, nose to tail down the backstretch. I thought Campbell was going to take a peek on the inside going into 3, but stays in line. Lap 5 of 75 just started. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next race here on ERN. Thanks for joining us once again on our regular Tuesday night signature broadcast. Watching Brian Campbell right now in a battle with Ty Quilla.
And Campbell looking high and looking low, and you can definitely run multiple lanes here. A lot of drivers do like that high line. I was watching Stephen Lee try to make some moves towards the mid-pack there, and he was using the high line to good effect. But Ty Quilla seems to have gapped him a little bit, and now gone up to the gearbox of Alan Morea for 4th place. But looking at Campbell all the way up on that high line, look at the run he's got coming down the back.
I think Quilla had to roll out of it somehow. I saw just all that momentum get lost and move Campbell, the tire changer for Dale Coyne Racing, right up to P5.
And he's definitely got to keep an eye on those tires as well, I would imagine here. But Campbell making great use of the tires while they last. Looking up on that high line yet again. He really seems to like that higher groove here, and you could definitely get away with it, especially if there's no one else running high line right in front. And Morea now seeing Campbell alongside him on the low side of the track. Still wheel to wheel through 3 and 4 and through the trial.
Oh, Shimizu!
Oh. Oh,
Oops.
no, hold it.
Uh-oh. Shimizu saves it amazingly, gathers it up on the apron there, but that is a ton of positions lost. Shimizu was running in 9th place and now falling all the way towards the back. What has happened to the 12 machine? And
the
yep,
cars
that was actually getting loose in the quad oval.
Yeah, the cars get very light through there. They want to dance, and that's what happens. I've had it happen here before. This is my least favorite mile-and-a-half quad oval. Really, it is. This is my least. I thought this would be a nice place to race because originally I watched those old IRL races back from the early 2000s where it was wide and smooth. It's not. It's wide, but it's not smooth, and it's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. And now you have the new Atlanta where it's smooth and fast as blazes, but it's a bit narrower now than it was before in some regards. So
yes, it is.
I think you're getting the worst of it. Whether you come to Atlanta, no matter which configuration you get, Gary.
Dustin Kerrs and Radicek side by side in the 3.
Radicek up 2 positions already. Make that back. And yeah, up 2 positions already from 11th to 9th for the 24. Sort of hanging in the wing, right behind the wings of Dustin Kerrs there, and that's not going to help his momentum there off the corner. A little bit squeamish there, in fact, for the 9 machine, right in front of the number 24 Oreos car there, from what I'm seeing on Trading Paints.
Murph and Stearns side by side going to the 3. Stearns in that Van Halen livery. I like it. And Stearns started mid-pack, has worked his way up a couple spots. Same thing for Murphy. Stephen Lee's up 5 spots. He's just right behind him right now. Car sideways.
Changes around. No one else collects him, thankfully, but he does have damage on that rear wing.
Radicek.
Radicek. He actually got turned. He got turned by Nick Wheeler in the 23 while they were battling out for 9th.
I'll check this out right here.
Was it him? No, it was actually
Kerrs.
Dustin. Yeah, it was Dustin Kerrs.
And there you see right there, boink.
Kerrs does give him a little tap there and sends him around. And Kerrs, I imagine, is going to be nursing some damage on that number 9 machine, but first caution is out, working lap 14.
Still too early to stop to make this a one-stopper. And here comes Clindy. Clindy is going to go ahead and take the dive down the pit road.
Bold call there for the number 4 crew, but if you can save a lot of fuel, it's possible.
He's about 10 laps away from the window opening, though.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a big ask, and it's going to be banking on some other cautions coming out later on in the going, but Clendy out of 2nd place. Looks like he's the only driver to top off the tanks here coming down on pit road.
Interesting, very interesting. Well, let's get the field reset after that. After that caution, our first of the day, Trost is your leader. He's led them all since the start. Shadid up 1. He is 2nd. Morera, he is up 1 spot. He is in 3rd. Brian Campbell on the move, up 3 spots to 4th. His teammate Quilla right behind him in 5th, and his teammate right behind him in 6th, Antonio Estrada. So 4th, 5th, and 6th, our teammates all lined up right there. Nick Wheeler is in 7th right there in that purple and gold and white car. I like it. William Stearns brought Van Halen up to P8. Stephen Lee has worked his way up 9 spots. That's 9 spots, folks, in just 15 laps to P9. And Shimizu, who had that little incident going through the infield, has managed to recover to 10th. And that is your top 10. Mercer, Sanders, Crotty, Ross, Clindworth, who came to the pit road, Murph, Garcia, newcomer, Benevenito, and Collins rounds out your top 20 at the moment. Everyone's still in the race, including Radicek, who has been repaired and has already made is back out on the racetrack. That caution, though, really did save Mitch David, who spun coming to taking the green going into turn one, and he had to really stay on the power for that entire run. Probably didn't save very much fuel at all. It's probably another reason why he's coming down pit road to get topped off here. That might as well at this point when you're that far back. But that caution was his savior thus far as we are into this race. Joseph Morales coming out in front of him. Joseph in that Lamborghini-sponsored Dallara. Well, let's get back up to the front, guys. Getting ready to go green. What do we think of that first run? I think we the ability to race kind of ran out after about 3 or 4 laps, and it became the how close can I follow after that?
Yeah, there were some good runs going for a lot of guys out there trying to gain momentum wherever they could, but it's definitely been a tricky affair later on in the going. But we'll see how well that holds up here as Trost once again gets a great restart going into one. Shadid kind of left hanging back there.
Here comes Campbell down low on a Barrera.
Campbell taking advantage immediately. Look at the move here up into third place. And Ty Quilla, his teammate, looking to follow through on that as well.
Move Quilla up to, as he's trying to find the right gear, move Quilla up to 4th with his teammate, as he is now clear, actually not quite clear, Barrera. And now he's taking a look underneath Campbell.
Still good teamwork so far by these two, getting themselves up into 3rd and 4th. It's worked well for them thus far, but these guys, they got to do something to get back up to the gearbox of Trey Shadid, and Shadid is trying to claw his way back up to the rear of Brandon Trost, and doing so quite well at this point. What can Shadid do? Both them running that high groove through 1 and 2.
Campbell is blinking. I'm sure that's not what he wants to see. Shadid now trying to get within 0.2 of Trost.
Making their way off the corner here, and Shadid did lose a bit of ground there, and Campbell has clawed his way a little bit closer to the back of Trey Shadid right now. Not quite enough to be in striking distance just yet, but Campbell is definitely the man on the move so far.
Scott Sanders up 13 spots to 12th.
From shotgun on the field to knocking on the door of a top 10 already. Well done to Scott Sanders. And he is getting to the rear end of Matthew Mercer in that reverse yellow submarine, I'll say. It's a Pennzoil livery, but it's mostly black instead of mostly yellow.
I like it. It's the stealth livery. We didn't see him coming up until, no, not until he got to 12th, though. Now we spotted him.
Yep, we did. And I mean, submarines are supposed to be stealthy, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
And he's starting to creep his way towards the rear of Matthew Mercer, who's sort of holding steady to the guys in front here. This is towards the back of the top 10. And I'm looking a little bit further back. I'm seeing Mark Murphy on the move side by side with Kevin Crotty. That's for 13th. And Murph moving himself clear of him at the moment and got himself up to 13th. So after his first pit stop, he came in alongside Clemworth and company. And he is leading them so far. Clendy has not really made as much ground as Murphy has so far here. I'm wondering, and looking at his pace, he could well be well and truly in fuel save mode.
Last laps that time by. We'll take a look at a lot of the leaders, 209s, 208s, 209s.
Guess who have the fastest lap?
Clintworth 207, so he's a mile off.
No, Mitch David.
Who has
25.4.
The fastest lap?
Yeah, Mitch David put down.
Oh, Mitch David. Well, yeah, I would imagine the nice clean racetrack in front of him and good tires. I'm sure he had to get those replaced a lot earlier than he wanted to. There are tire limits here in the Oval Series. 3 sets of tires, 1 in the car, 2 in the pits. Watch his camera dancing around. There's a lot of turbulence down near the racetrack.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, really. This is a kind of racing where if you go under 210 miles an hour, some people consider that to be slow in these circles. It's amazing how, and it's amazing the wind turbulence you get here. And I love how it's modeled in the iRacing cameras. It's not just like just a standard whoop going by sort of thing. You actually feel it in the cameras going by here. It's very nice.
Here is your closest battle on the racetrack right now. Up in the top 10, Wheeler and Shimizu after the recovery. Gonna take a look at the outside, going to the one.
Shimizu doing a great job recovering from that spin earlier and clears Nick Wheeler's number 23 to get up into 7th place. Very good run from him so far. Next up on the chopping block is Antonio Estrada.
Stearns around Lee for 9th. Lee back to 10th. Still keeping an eye on Sanders, now up 13 spots.
And Sanders starting to get himself into this fight here, too. He's running a little bit quicker than the guys around him at the moment. But he's got to be worried behind him because look who it is. It's Mark Murphy in the number 2. And he is running faster than all of them right now. Even with, cautions. What has happened here?
Where is it?
Dustin Cares I'm seeing with a damaged race car on pit road. And this was back towards 19th, and yeah, there was contact off of turn number 2, and he went around off the corner, and I think that brought out the yellow.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was with. Gonna be the 15 newcomer, yeah, and he just kind of comes up in the new. I don't think newcomer really did anything wrong there. He just held his line, and Cares kind of washed up into him, which can happen, and that is inside wall contact. Day done, probably for that Dallara.
Looks to be so, sadly. That kind of damage I'm seeing there usually is the permanent kind in the iRacing service.
So now it's pits time. Everyone's going to come in because the window's open.
Everybody comes in. We're working lap 29 coming to 30, and all of them are coming down. Trost, Shadid, Campbell, Quilla, Morea, Estrada, Shimizu. Everybody is in. The guy I'm keeping an eye on, though, is Clendy. Clendy has also come in.
Yeah, Clendy is.
Murphy stayed, Benevenuto stayed.
Yeah, Benevenuto stayed out along with Mark Murphy.
All right. So they are planning for some more caution here, possibly at the time of the restart. We shall see. We've heard the restarts are somewhat treacherous. Shadid comes out in front of Trost. Trost is now 4th in the lineup. Morera 5th. Estrada is now 6th. Shimizu 7th. Wheeler 8th. Tyquilla 9th. Campbell follows a couple of spots. I'm not sure what happened on his stop, but he is now 10th. Clendy is 15th. While we're under caution, let's take a look at the IndyCar Oval Series points situation. Here you go. Robert Malechka is your points leader with 1,321 points. Clendy right behind him and equally as torrid pace, 11:53. And just behind Clendy is Trost at 11:44. So the battle for the top 2 right now is nip and tuck between two guys that really don't like each other in the sim.
And that's kind of the way the racing gods always wanted to be, isn't it? It's two guys fighting at the championship who are fierce rivals with each other. And, like, sure, we love the ones where it's the fierce rivals on track but good friends after and good friends off the track. Let's say your Tony Kanans and Helio Castroneveses of the world. But there's just some times where you just love it when two guys are going out there fighting for wins, and they don't exactly like each other in either on or off, it seems. And that seems to be the case with Trost and Clendy. I'm not entirely... I think I was told about how the beef started, but I'm not exactly sure.
Just hard racing. I'm sure it's hard racing.
It was hard racing. I have no doubt about that.
But I don't know if you noticed who was 5th in the points there, and I circled their name, Brian Campbell. So a lot of championship implications at hand right here this week at Atlanta, and some close points battles in the top 5 of the Oval Series. Coming to green to lap 32. Hopefully we can see this through. We're almost at a halfway point here. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks to folks at the ERN for making us a part of their family for the remainder of this season. Here we go. Murph is the leader. and he brings the field up to speed.
Murphy and Benvenuto are on a different pit strategy than everyone else. Let's keep that in mind. But they are going to make the most of it while they can up at the front of the field. And Benvenuto is definitely going to be doing that. He's down on the low side of Mark Murphy fighting for the race lead. And is he going to clear him? Yes, he does. So move Cristiano Benvenuto.
Side by side, Trost Shadid. Trost wants around Trace really bad. I don't think he really wanted to. Oh, and a good run for Trace. Trace throws a bit of a high block and continues to put Trost right up into the wall.
Running almost stock car style there up on the top line there, but Benvenuto has now seen Trace Shadid all over his gearbox there, and he's going to be up on the high side on fresh tires. Can Benvenuto hold on? And both Shadid and Trost, they both clear Murphy really
good. Contact! Shadid and Benvenuto!
Benvenuto and Shadid are both wrecked! Caution is out! Oh my goodness! Oh, that was... that was something else for sure. I am not sure how that all happened.
Benvenuto just came right up into Trace.
Yeah, and just came up. Oh my goodness. There was a bit of net code involved in that, but he was coming up high off going into the corner.
Watch Trace. I don't think really Trace came down. Watch this top seam. Trace was up there. He was not coming down.
He was up there, and he was... he looked to be holding that top line around the corner. He was actioning like he was going to do that. Yeah, that was... Yeah, Benvenuto definitely came up there. The contact itself was netcode, but it looked like it was going to be contact in any case.
Let's see if we can get some... There it is. Here's the right rear. So there he comes. I think Trace was holding his line, and Benvenuto came up on him.
I'm thinking the same way on that one.
Yeah. Oh, Murph just squeaks on by, and as these cars bounce down to the self-cleaning banks here, and they bounce down to the apron, I think Stearns just missed getting taken out as well.
Yeah, that was a close call. I'm looking at it from Murphy's point of view now.
So Shadid in the team radio said, I should be done expected that. So I don't know. I guess Benvenuto is going too high to take the corner and going down to the almost close to the apron. So and this, for sure Benvenuto is the main one.
Yeah, that was
now we got
because, you know, when you try to take the corner, you should be coming up to down, but you take it too high. But especially with the old tires.
The car was high,
especially with the old tires. So
oh yeah.
Well, that gives the lead back to Trost. Took out one of the guys on the alternate strategy, as well as one of the guys that he was racing primarily for the win. That was on the same strategy too. In fact, beat him out of the pits. Chase did that time. Riding with Trost right now, he is burning off some extra fuel, so apparently he has too much now at this point. Murph has stayed out. He is not pitted yet. He is now 21 laps into his current stint. And he could probably go another 25.
Yeah, I think that's what he's looking at here. It seems like it's going to be one more stop, it would seem, from Murphy in any case. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, how it plays out here, especially with tires towards the end of the race here. Murphy could be in a situation where he's on the best tires of the field later on in the going.
Yeah.
But we'll see if that really helps much in terms of overall track position.
Well,
and someone else on the alternate strategy who came in, of course, was Kyle Clemworth, down in 13th at the moment. What can he do?
Let's reset the field as I think we're coming to green. It's Trost, Murphy, Moreira, Estrada, Shimizu, Quilla, Campbell, Wheeler, Lee, and Mercer is your top 10. Shimizu's had quite the adventure to bring himself up to 5th, and we are green, and Truss wastes no time. Murph's on an alternate strategy, and that's about the big news right now, as we have teammates in 4th, 6th, and 7th up in the top 10.
And Trost once again gets a great restart once more as Murphy, as you said, on an alternate strategy. I don't think he's going to be pushing too hard to get by him here. He'll probably be using Trost to draft off of him and save a little bit of fuel even more so. The guy behind, though, is not having such compunctions. That's Alan Morea in the 3rd spot in the 13 machine. What can he do?
Here's a battle between two of the fastest on the racetrack right now, Sanders and Clindy. Clindy gets up to the wall a little bit, and then Brazilian clears himself in front of Sanders, but move Clindy up to 12th.
Clindy now is realizing this is the go time for him, and he's got 3 cars to deal with here. What can he do? That's William Stearns, Matt Mercer, and Stephen Lee. Lee running way up on that high line the same way that Clendy is. Clendy getting very close to the wall, but he does have to run on William Stearns down the back straightaway. 17 of Mercer as well, and look at the launch he's getting here.
Yeah, no
Clendy,
kidding. He's going to clear him off the straight, and he should be catching up now to Stephen Lee.
breezes on by and move Clendy up 2 spots in 1 lap to 10th place.
I have a flashback. I remember battle with Christopher Demerit, and he was 75 laps in high and the 3rd line, and he won the race in 7. He won the race working on the high side. So, and everybody, us including me, working on the middle and down, middle and the first one. So it's a good one because nobody wanna go high because it's too close to the corner for the wall. So it's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very true stuff there as Clendy actually gets by Stephen Lee. I think Lee let him go there. And move Clendy up into 9th. Next up is Nick Wheeler, and that's a bit of a gap, just about a second towards that he's got to work up here. What kind of laps can he pull with his pace on fresh-ish tires? Yeah, fresh-ish, I think is the best way to describe him at the moment. Clendy is making hay for sure. Last lap around, Wheeler 26 even, Clendy 25.7. He is 0.3 of a second up on Nick Wheeler. He has definitely got pace underneath him in the number 4.
He is more faster than the Brandon Trost now, Clendy.
Look who else is too. It's Alan Morea who's gotten around Mark Murphy for P2 and move him up into 2nd place. And Morea on the same strategy as Trost. He's going to be good to go to the end on fuel here. Alan definitely can be a daring driver in his own ways. When he gets up to the lead of this race here, I think we're going to be in for quite a show between him and Trost.
Here comes El Patron with newer tires than Murphy. Battle for 3rd, going into 1.
Our friend El Patron, Antonio Estrada, running right up on the gearbox of Murphy on the low side of 1 and 2. And looking in the rear view right now is Masato Shimizu. Shimizu's been doing an amazing job recovering from that early spin and up into 5th place. What a drive for the number 12 crew.
Yeah, let's give a good close-up to Masato's car there. That was an excellent save and an excellent recovery back up to 5th. And on top of all that, he's up 4 spots from where he started. Keep in mind, he fell back to the mid-pack after doing some unscheduled lawn maintenance of the quad oval.
Yes, indeed. And like simulating what it would be like to be the world's fastest lawnmower for a second typically doesn't do a driver much good. But Shimizu,
battle here, Lee and Mercer.
Estrada getting a bit of a run there on Murphy. He was getting close to tapping Murphy on the gearbox of his number 2 machine, and Shimizu starting to get even more and more into the fight. And Shimizu on the high side of Estrada now.
So, yeah, had to check up just a little bit. That's how much a momentum will cost you a position, especially when they could stay in the throttle on the high side. Shimizu on the high side he has a back out of it. I don't know if he actually maybe hit the wall, but that was a rapid deceleration, giving the position back to Antonio. I don't know if maybe he hit the wall or he just had no place to go and just rolled out of it.
It looked like it was close in any case there, and I think he might have tapped it a tiny bit. So Shimizu still holding on to 5th place there, but has some momentum to gain back. And speaking of momentum, look who's got a ton of it. It's Clendy. He's up to 7th already. He's gotten around Brian Campbell. He's gotten around Wheeler. He's gotten around Stephen Lee. And next on his sights is Ty Quilla. Clendy is really making the most of this whole situation here, and he's gotten himself back into contender status.
Yeah, real close to the wall there, Shimizu did. So plus that he did have the draft of Murph and was getting a good run. And now we're back again, and he's again resetting the attack on El Patron, going high into turn 3 and 4. Looking for a good run off corner exit into the quad oval. Here comes Matsuda out to start finish line, and he has a position, and he's not quite clear.
Still holding on to that high line.
Masato clear.
Momentum here. He clears him. Masato Shimizu up to 4th place, and next up is the fuel-saving Mark Murphy. So this is a heck of a comeback drive in any case for Masato Shimizu, and one of the best results we've seen from him thus far on the Top Split broadcast. A fantastic drive so far for our Japanese friend Masato Shimizu.
And Murph's going to come to pit road any time here in the next, I would imagine, 7 laps or so. He is praying for a caution to come. So during the Monday night race at Iowa, he hit pit road, and the caution came when he hit pit road. So, and here comes Shimizu looking for the bottom. He's actually running those left sides on the white line there.
Oy, that is hairy in any case, at any track. You remember what we always say, Gary? Apron bad. Yeah, like that is right on the razor's edge of it, as Shimizu gets a launch off the high side on Mark Murphy, still wheel to wheel. And this is for 3rd position. They're about 2 seconds in arrears of the 2 leaders, Trost and Morea. Shimizu.
Antonio, we just jumped into his car. He got loose off of corner number 2. He had to catch it, but he was looking to get in a bit of a run there, and the car just wasn't going to agree with him. Oh, and he's loose again. Yeah, he's in the grass.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness. Looks like everybody has gathered it up here. But Shimizu holding on for dear life, as I'm sure a lot of people are on these tires, as old as they've gotten. Atlanta is usually a torturous track for tires, especially in the old configuration that we're running on tonight.
Meanwhile, back up front, we've been watching these battles towards the back. Trost continues to lead. Alan Moreira is 2nd. Shimizu, these two have kind of broken away. Shimizu's back there with Murph on his 6th now. They no longer have an interested party in Estrada there, who had to slow down a little bit with an ill-handling car. Murph is now 4th. He is due on pit road any time now. But Clinworth, who was stormed back from taking a pit stop, an early pit stop, and then stopping again at the next caution, he is making a run through the field, and he is now up to 5th with his teammates Ty Quilla right behind him.
And Clendy is running lap times that are about even, if not a little bit quicker than Murphy and Shimizu ahead of him. Of course, Murphy still needs to pit.
Yeah, he's definitely catching the fight for the battle for 3rd.
Indeed he is. And he's pulled a gap over Ty Quilla, as everyone behind starting to space themselves out a fair bit here. But Clendy is the man on the mission right now. Having a look here as Murphy still holding strong with Shimizu right now for 3rd position. Of course, it will be all for naught if a caution doesn't come out in the next few laps or so, because Murphy is, of course, going to be pitting soon.
Newcomer Morales for a top 20 spot here, side by side in the 3.
Michael Newcomer, a great name I like to say for his first appearance here on the top split, on the broadcast here tonight, on the top split broadcast, as he is battling with Joseph Morales. Morales clears him. That is for 19th position.
Quilla and Wheeler are still in a wheel-to-wheel battle. Estrada is recovered. He's now kind of in the friendlier arms of a teammate at the moment, and Campbell probably not going to race him as hard as maybe the next guy, but they are getting late in this race where these positions matter, especially when you're 5th in the championship like Campbell is.
Exactly, and that's one thing I'm sure they're considering too, is that Campbell, kind of a quiet figure for much of the season, but has been knocking out very consistent results, and it's gotten him a top 5 spot in the championship and kind of cementing himself as one of the up-and-coming figures of the series. He's really been put on a great show throughout the race tonight. He's been doing great all throughout the season. Consistent, smart driving. It's done him wonders.
Watching Clindy continue to capture this group in front of him. If you're just joining us, this is P1 coverage of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split on ERN, coming to you from Atlanta. We've completed 64 of 75 laps. If you're enjoying our coverage tonight and would like to monetarily support us, we do this for the community for free. Please find a link to our GoFundMe campaign in the stream description. We realize times are tough, so any donation, no matter the amount, is greatly appreciated. While you're here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And give a big subscribe here to the guys at ERN. They've been really kind to host us here for the remainder of the season. And don't forget, they have an IndyCar Season 2. And if you like this type of action and you like maybe your races a little bit longer but of a fixed setup variety, then you want to check out the Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series here on ERN. There's a small sign-up fee, but you can sign up in the Discord. The link is in the description, and sign up for their series. It starts August 1st. And I will be broadcasting it along with the other crew at ERN, so we look forward to bringing that action to you. We're coming to the closing stages here, 66 of 75 in the books.
Definitely getting towards the end here, and I'm definitely surprised that Murphy has been staying out as long as he has. He's been doing a great job right now with the fuel mileage. He's dipping below 200 in some spots on the circuit here, but I think that's normal at this point with the old tires they've got running so far. Clendy is still within earshot of these guys, and he's catching them slowly but surely. Is it going to be enough here? We're wondering about Murphy. Shimizu is the real driver that he's going for right now.
Yeah, Shimizu doesn't have to save, or at least shouldn't have to save. Murph definitely has a save. And slowly, Clinworth is getting closer and closer and closer.
And Clendy running way up on that high line here through 1 and 2. Looking at their previous laps here, Clendy a tiny bit quicker. He's still within about 4/10 of the 2 in front of him. And thinking back to the leaders here, Trost with a 0.7 of a second lead over Morea.
That's been pretty stable.
He's 1.4 ahead of Shimizu, Murphy, and then behind is Kyle Clenworth.
And these two are getting ready to break the draft envelope back to Shimizu, and that once they do that, it's going to be between these two as we are coming very quickly to the closing stages here.
And Murphy, it's a heroic run so far on fuel. Has he indeed saved enough, I wonder? As we're coming to 5 to go, 5 more for Mark Murphy to hold on to a possible podium here, but of course he's got
54 laps. 54 laps on this stint.
Yeah, that is a close figure there. It's about what I would expect here. But he's saving very, very well. Of course, he's saved a ton under the yellows, and he's probably been running something like map 3 or 4 for a good portion of this run. And I think now he's actually turned up the wick here, and he is pulling away from Shimizu. So I think Murphy was probably on to something here. He did a great job fuel save-wise. This might be a podium for him. As I'm listening a little bit further back to the field, Campbell and Estrada, this is for 7th place.
Oh, Estrada still loose off of 4.
Still loose off the corner there. Campbell still holding on to that top side. And Estrada trying to make a run on the low line here. I think those tires are getting a bit long in the tooth there for that move to work well.
Yeah, 42 laps, 43 laps for these guys.
Yeah, that obviously doesn't sound like much fuel-wise here, but tire-wise, these tires are probably at the end of their life, it would seem. You're not going to get too much pace out of them and too much grip out of them in any regard. And Brandon Trost, from running up front here, that's really helped him a good bit. He hasn't worn out his tires as much, but he has taken off. He's 2 seconds now ahead of Alan Morea, and Morea has lost about 4/10 a lap on him last time around. And look who's catching him, by the way.
White flag in the air, yep. And Trost has done everything, really, but let's just say...
No! Murphy's gone!
Out of fuel. Trost coming to 3 and 4. Coming to 3 and 4, Trost has run a masterful race, pretty much dominated, the lack of a better word. It is his day here in Atlanta. Trost, your winner. Morera is going to come home second. And Clindy Shimizu.
Clindy beats Shimizu to the line.
Did he meet him to the line?
He did. Oh, my goodness. That was 1/100th of a second at the stripe.
Let's watch that here as these two are coming. Here they are. They're right here. Let's watch. It did look like Clindy on the high side. Yeah, and now timing and scoring has readjusted itself. Wow. Wow, gentlemen. Wow. Whew.
Beautiful. What a drive there by Clindy. What a drive by everyone at the front here. Murphy with a hero run, Shimizu with a hero run, Clendy with a hero run, but Trost bested all of them, and he has gotten the win, and Alan Morea's got to be happy with that second place result, and he's doing donuts too, and I don't blame him.
Let's get in here. I think, yeah, there we see Murph just cruising over the start-finish line there. So close, so close. He went 55 laps, I think, something like that.
Yeah, like it was a long run for Murph. He had to save as much as he physically could. Wasn't quite enough, though. It was coming off of turn 2 on the last lap. The car sputters.
All right, let's take a look here at the final standings. And yeah, let's see, where does he eventually finish? Murphy went 60 laps on that stint.
Wow.
He completed 60 laps. He was under power for 59 and a quarter of them. Yep. I'm sorry about that, Murph, but it was a good gamble as we're watching the replay of Clindy hitting pit road very early on in this race in preparation for his interview. But let's go ahead and get the results in. Trost with the win, and like I said, it was pretty much a dominant day for him. He didn't spend much time in second place, and when he did, it was very short, but he was pretty much your leader all day long. Alan Moreira finished his second. He's very happy with that one. Both those guys started on the front row, both those guys started up front, so they kind of finished where they started. And that might be just another tip for future races for this. Track position really matters at this particular racetrack, specifically when you can see how long Murphy was able to hold off Shimizu. But Shimizu had to be sitting there wondering, when's this guy going to run out of fuel, and why hasn't he done it already? But Clinworth finishes in third. Then he beat Shimizu at the line. Wheeler in fifth. We haven't talked much about him, but a good run for Wheeler. He went up 5 spots to finish fifth. Campbell in 6th. Estrada with a wicked handling car in much of the second half of this race finishes 7th. Mercer, he finished 8th, and he went up 11 spots to make his way up into the top 10. Stephen Lee 9th. He made up 9 spots. And Scott Standers, who we said stealthily started making his way up into the top 10. Once he got there, he found the passing a little bit more difficult, but still improved 15 spots to finish in the top 10. Ty Quilla 11th, Kevin Crotty 12th, Collins 13th, Garcia 14th, Stearns in the 5150 machine. He sits there in 15th, Murray 16th, Morales 17th, Mitch David with a bit of a rough start in 18th, Newcomer 19th, and Robbie Ross in 20th. And then Mark Murphy, unfortunately, just not enough fuel in the old tank there to get him around another 3/4 of a lap, but brings her home 21st on a valiant effort for sure. Tracia did 22nd, but he needed to 23rd. They were involved in an incident that took both of them out, and Cares and Radicek 24th and 25th. That was the remainder of our 25-car field.
Let me tell you something. The race is finished with a 124 degree track.
Ooh.
Ooh. They call it Hot Atlanta for a reason, folks.
There it is, 124 degrees. All right. And Clindy, let's bring him on up. Actually, bring him on down because the waiting room's higher. There you go, Clindy. Congratulations by the slimmest of all margins. First things first, why did you pit so early?
I was good on gas. If the race had went green, I would have made it, and I would have been the only car on my lap. It wasn't gonna be close for me. I was banking an extra 10% every lap. So
wow.
Well then.
Well, let's talk about that run though. You're working your way up into the top 10. You get into the top 10. You get to that top 5. You know Murph is up there. And you got to be wondering when he's going to be pitting, which he never did.
Well, yeah. So Murph and I had the same amount of fuel, right? Because we both pit on that first yellow. I thought he was going to be good. When he came over comms and said he was going to run out, I'm like, oh my goodness, the seas have parted. I'm going to podium. So I hustled a little harder because I had kind of given up. I'm like, I'm not going to catch. I might catch Shimizu. There's no way I catch Murph. Like, they're single file. It's going to take a miracle. And when he said, I'm going to be short on gas, I'm like, oh, baby, here we go. Time to throw the show.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about it coming in the pre-race, or actually when we went over the points. I mean, you are in a bit of a we know that recently last season Robert set a kind of a record on the Oval Series, Formula Fixed Series point record, and he's putting the same type of assault on that record again this season. But you're right there with him this time, and you keep talking about it when you get here. You keep getting these podiums and everything. It's all going to add up at the end.
Yeah, grind them out, Gary. I had a goal last season to podium the final point standings. I said I would pay $5 to anyone who beat me. I finished 5th, so I ended up paying $20. And I didn't double down on that, but I really want a podium. To be honest with you, I really want to win one of these championships very, very badly. It may not be this season, it may not be next season, but I'm going to keep grinding and put myself in a position where I can beat everyone else and say that I am the best, because I know that I have the capacity to do it.
Well, definitely. I think that we got some heck of future battles in front of us that we can't wait to see.
That's the field where I have it before, and this is great field. So you must do it. I take me at least 3 seasons to try to fight for the championship against Henry Bennett. I lost. I was 2nd, and then fight it with Piñeiro and Demerit. I was 3rd or 4th, I don't remember, but it was the great one. So just keep going. Just really keep going.
Thank you, LGN. Yeah, Pinheiro, Malechka, Oster, Akabueze, those are the guys who I look up to. I watch every time they post a race to learn and to get better, and I feel like it's really starting to pay dividends. Plus, I feel like I'm starting to teach my teammates and help them, and they're helping me get better and help keep me accountable. You know, there used to be weeks that I just didn't practice. knowing that I'd just be good enough. I'd win a couple races in a week, and that'd be good enough for me. But now, I want to win the SOF races, and I want to put myself in a position to know enough to teach others to win those races too. And I feel like I'm like within 3%. Like I'm at like 97%, right? If I can get those extra 2 or 3%, I'm going to start more than just podium. I'm going to get silver medals. I'm going to get gold medals. Like that's where I want to be. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I have the work ethic. I have the drive. I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to keep telling everyone to follow Julia's Kitchen TW on Instagram, to follow P1 Broadcasting, follow the ERN network. Go check us out when I do the VOR series, Friday afternoons, the iconic, or on Saturday if I do the actual IR18s. Those are all great to watch. Gary's a pleasure in the booth. I've got a million more shout outs, but I don't want to take up too much time. So ask any questions you have, and then I'll take more time later.
No, I think that's about it. I mean, I think you hit all the major points and major parts. We just you got that early stop. We were wondering why you did it, and you had a plan, and then you executed, brought it home as another podium. So I just keep on chopping wood.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I told Brandon congrats on the win, and that he won in qualifying by 2/1000ths of a second. If I had been on pole and if I had been leading, I would not have played fuel mileage because I knew that there would be more cautions. It's just when those cautions land, right? Yep. And when the third caution or whenever I came in and put in tires, I was like, I'd rather be on offense than on defense because I didn't want to be where Mark was. I didn't want to have to ride around 80%, saving fuel and tire, and hope that I can beat people on fresh tires right behind me because I knew I wouldn't. But I knew I could fight through the field, and I did. So,
all right, congrats. We'll see you next week at Legacy, Kentucky.
Yeah, I'll be there, and I'm going to try to win. I got my first ever SOF win at Kentucky. I'm going to try to repeat. So
somehow I don't doubt that's going to happen. We'll see. I don't doubt it.
I don't know. We'll see.
Thanks, see
Gary.
you.
Thanks,
all
guys.
right.
Thanks for the...
And we'll bring down Mr. Trost. Brandon, congratulations on the win. Matt, this was really just kind of a dominant win for you. Once you got out into the lead, you kind of broke away. You had a one time where Trace beat you off pit road, and then he kind of took himself out with the Brazilian there. But once you cleared that little incident, you were back into the lead, and it was never a question from there on out.
Yeah, once Trace wrecked himself out, Kyle was on that alternate strategy, which was a great strategy, by the way. Where he was running, it was going to be very hard to get to the lead. So to go for that fuel mileage plan was a great idea on his part. But anyways, yeah, the only mistake I made all race was hitting the wall behind Trace there.
Yeah, it's almost like we were actually watching that battle. It's almost like he guided you up into that wall, just kind of, here, I see him coming, I'm going to give him a little bit of dirty air, and I'm going to follow you up into that wall. Is that kind of what happened? Is he just hit you with the dirty air, and there was kind of no way to recover from it?
Yeah, but you know what? I did it to him for the first 20 laps. So I should have saw it coming.
Well, at least you look at it that way. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Talk about the rest of your race, though. You really didn't have much of a challenge from Alan. You started slowly breaking away. In fact, you two slowly broke away from the rest of the pack, and then you slowly broke away from Alan. Were you good to go if there was a late caution here, tire-wise? You think you would have still won this thing if there was a late caution, or there was just no doubt in your mind?
Cautions are interesting because then it becomes a numbers game of how many people pit versus stay out.
Mm-hmm.
I felt confident that once we got down to 7 to go, if there was a yellow, I wasn't pitting. With 15 to go, all bets would have been off though, because I think you would have had to pit, and then it'd just be a matter of who doesn't wreck trying to get through the people that stayed out.
True enough. Well, you are third in the points. A big win here. Not the greatest strength of field. Let's see. What do we have today? We had a 37.53. It's going to help a little bit. Not much. A couple more attempts at it this week to see how this week shakes out for you. Possibly make it into second place, or probably looking at third place in the week.
I think this got me to second if I got the results right. I think
okay.
I just barely got by Kyle.
Okay.
But, the thing is, I think we're realistically racing for second at this point. Robert's got a 200-point gap, I believe, and
yep.
He's got 8,000 I ratings, so any race he gets in is the strength of field of the week. And I have to admit, it's smart of him tonight to sit out because he already got his points on Monday. Why give us more points,
True enough. True enough. Well, shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone want to say hi to before we move on to Legacy Kentucky next week?
Well, that'll be fun next week. I didn't even realize that was the track. But yeah, no, I'll give a shout out to everyone in that race. That was a pretty good race. And I also want to give a shout out to everyone in the 4:15 race 4 hours ago because they kept it caution free, which was really
nice.
fun. Really
Very nice.
Nice.
I love those races. You don't see it. There's not enough of them. But when you do go through a caution-free race, especially a track like this, there's a whole sense of accomplishment. So that is a good shout out to that crew. Well, congratulations on the win. We'll catch you next week at Kentucky.
Yep. See you guys next time.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Final thoughts here at Atlanta before going to Kentucky, starting with you, LGN.
Very, 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 very fun. This is fun. Yes, fun race. Fun to watch. Fun to. I don't know if it's a good grammar. Anyways, I said fun or no. Anyways, thing is, it's a good thing. Good race. I really enjoyed all the race. I'm really happy for Clint because I don't know, look like Shimizu got sleep, something like that. I don't know. I don't know why. So good for him. Brandon, he need to keep going. So doesn't matter if it's the end for the race. Hey, this is a 5 round. So you said round 5.
Yeah, round 5. Yep.
About 12. Yep. So maybe they have maybe for the second or who knows for the first win, for the win of the championship. So good race today. I really like it. I really enjoy it. We have only 2 cautions or 3.
Yeah.
So that's the average what I counted between the first one yesterday today. So it's like a 302. So that's good to proceed today. So Kentucky, the Legacy. So it's gonna be fun to watch too, and let's see what's happened. I hope we're gonna see a more big guys over here, and good race today. Yeah, good.
Steven, final thoughts here, and then going to a track we don't see an awful lot. We see regular Kentucky, but we don't see Legacy Kentucky very much, and it's proved probably going to be a bit of a different track for these guys as kind of a departure from the high bank, so to speak.
And it's kind of ironic because the Legacy Kentucky was the one that IndyCar did actually run at.
Yes, it was.
Late
2011.
2010.
Yeah, 2011 was the last race there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I could definitely see a lot of similarities between Legacy Atlanta and Legacy Kentucky, but Legacy Kentucky, I think, is going to be that step a little bit further up in terms of the wow factor because the track is very wide, like Atlanta is, and the multiple groups you can run there. It's a bit harder to just do what Trost was doing at the end of the race and just put your foot down and not worry about the guys behind you too terribly much. This was overall, though, the race tonight, though, there were a lot of different strategies out there. Everyone had a bunch of different ways they did the race. Some of them worked really well, and some met with tragedy at the end here. But that is something that it's showing that you could have a different playbook than everyone else, and you can still overcome odds there. Like it may look crazy at first, but it works out, but it can definitely work out if you play it right, and we saw that tonight if you play it right. But Kentucky, I think, is going to be is gonna have that factor, but also a very interesting form of racing here because the momentum you can get at Kentucky and fight for the lead, I think that could be a major boost to the excitement going forward here. This is going to be a fun one.
So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium from Atlanta. Clindy with yet another podium comes in third. Moreira, probably his best finish here on the top split. And he didn't make the interview room, but congrats to him. Big shout out to him. Kept it nice and clean, brought it home nice and safe, and comes home second there. And Trost with the win here, trying to keep pace there amongst the top two, top three in the points battle between second and third there. Join us again next week for, round 6 of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split on ERN as we head to Legacy, Kentucky. Coverage, as always, begins around 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, it's 8:15 p.m. Eastern. And it'll be right here on the Elite Racing Network channel for the remainder of the season. So, as always, you can find all the correct broadcast times in your area right here on YouTube at youtube.com/@Elite Racing League. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, and they're not easy and they require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we've been able to bring you the IndyCar Oval action nearly sponsor-free. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar, and we know you do, and have enjoyed our coverage of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2024 broadcast fund. We realize, again, times are tough. We realize that, and any contribution would be greatly appreciated. And we thank you for watching and make us part of your Tuesday evenings each and every week. Now, as you know, the algorithm game is the one we like to play on YouTube, and that's also not an easy one. So please help support P1 and ERN with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below to list out at tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and you gotta hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of P1 and ERN's other iRacing programming, including the Elite Racing League's Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series, which will kick off their 9th season on Tuesday, August 1st at Homestead Miami Speedway. To learn more about the Elite Racing League and how to sign up for their upcoming IndyCar season, join the Discord. The link is in the description. Track cams are provided by Whiplash. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with the Whiplash sim cams. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, and they're also now on Instagram. Links are in the description. So for Stephen Larkamp, a melted Justin Petschauer, LGN, everyone here at P1 and ERN, I'm Gary Gonzo saying all good night. Thanks for watching. And to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed. God bless. Come home safe. Catch us again right here next week in Kentucky for the next race of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split. Good night.